Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
I'm glad you guys are here. The reason that we're having this, as we've had also with Gloves Off, people always ask, why do you do this? Well, number one, if you have a platform, if you're able to touch people, and we've had this business here since 88. This school has been here since 1988. And we've been able to touch a lot of folks that have become professionals in their community, police officers in their community, teachers, real estate agents. We just have a Texas Ranger just became folks that came out of the school. Doctors, lawyers, commanders, captains. And what happens is, they always ask, who do we vote for? What should we be doing? What's going on? So the podcast started kind of like a informative for the community, right? What's going on, who's coming in here, bring everybody together and such. We've had debates in the past. And every time we had debates, I would always say, I would have asked this question. How come you didn't ask this question? So we're having a gathering here to ask a candidate the questions we want to ask questions. We can't have all of them together because we can individualize each and every single one and ask them directly. Why do you want me to vote for you? Why would you want me to vote for you? What are you going to do to our community? We had a lot of problems in our community. We have a beautiful community, but the community here has school to prison pipeline districts. We have corrupt police department. We have small businesses failing. We have, since the pandemic, small businesses have taken a toll. There's no help. Apart from that, we have what seems to be a migration problem with a cloaked invasion underneath it. You have a lot of great people that are coming here to look at this nation that we have. One of the best nations there is in the world. And people come, but then there's another side of it that's kind of nefarious when you look at it. When you have people that don't want to say that they know English, but they can look at you and they agree with what you're saying, but they won't talk English back to you. Something nefarious going on in the sense of it going on. So we have a migration with a cloaked invasion underneath. So I'm going to introduce to you a candidate that's on the Republican side that's running against our Congressman, Henry Cuellar, who's a Democrat. And he's helped out our community as well, a lot. But you all want to find out, you all want to ask questions. These questions are brought forth for you all to see. I'm going to introduce Mr. Lázaro Garza to come up, who is a candidate from here. And he can go ahead and talk a little bit about himself, what he's done, and then you all can ask questions and see which way we can see and you all make the decision. Remember, it's all about informing the lesser informed. Mr. Garza?
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's an introduction.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for this beautiful place. I'm honored to be here because I can see all of this. Normally have this right here. Baby Joe, where is he?
Baby Palacios back here.
Palacios back over here. So to come here, the man that does my monogramming for my shirts, I had to take off the shirt this morning to do early voting in Jim Hall County. So yes, it's to be here and see him there.
He's an honor, one of the best there was. The boxers over here in Laredo, Baby Red Palacios, I don't know if many of you remember him.
Hebbronville, Texas, but he was from Duval County. His dad was from La Chona, Texas. The whole family, Palacios, come from there. My good friend, Mr. Paul, told me, he says, no te le arrimes, because he does this, but he reaches this far. So I don't mess with him. He's the nicest gentleman. How old is he now? 65, 62?
No, yeah, about
I'm 71. He's younger than me.
Right. Yeah. No, he's in the 60s. He's in the 60s.
He's still as fit as the day he was when he was boxing. Paul and I would take it, maybe tie him up.
The great guy.
Thank you all for coming. And hoping we can answer some questions to you all why I'm doing this. My name is Lázaro Garza. I am number 10 of 13 children, born in Benavides, Texas. Lázaro Garza, born in 1902. His dad was born in Texas, or his whole family was born in Texas before Texas was Texas. Francisco Garza, my grandfather, 1860, went through the pass, Raton, with some longhorn cattle from the King Ranch. He went, found an Indian maiden. My grandmother was Scholastica Huerta, full-blooded Indian, brought her back. In the home that I was born in Benavides, 11 of the 13 children were born in the same home. The floor was dirt, the kitchen was dirt, and my grandmother delivered 11 of the 13 children in that house. My poor mother would get up the next morning, make breakfast for the ones who went to school, took care of the ones, plus the baby that was born, and more importantly, make lunch and breakfast for my dad to go to work. So poor, I think everybody here knows, we were never poor, we just worked. We didn't know no difference. So to come back here and try to run for U.S. Congress, because I had enough of it. To listen to these people, I know them all. I have a small ranch between Hebbronville and Falfurrias. They used to come there and patronize me. I've always been a Republican in Houston, but I have this small piece of property, and I added, so they would patronize me. My brother had a business in Freer, Texas, called the Muy Grande Deer Contest, started as a Texaco station, grew it to the world's largest deer contest in the world. So, oil and gas, I broke my teeth into oil and gas in 1979. So I understand what South Texas is composed of. A lot of people forget one industry. There's 3 industries, but there's 4. One is oil and gas, which is one, farming, ranching. Guess what? Since 1979 up to 21, I was in oil and gas. I know what it takes to work on a work order rig. Drilling, I was too small. I only weighed 129 pounds, so they would take me to the drilling rigs. But I worked on a work order rig. I was the guy with the varillas, with the rods. And I fed them. And I in Kingsville, 71, 75. When I got there, we were Paul, white, Negroes, and others. We were others. Now, every 2 years, they change us. They change our names. Ramsey Muniz in 73, 74, decides to run against Dolph Briscoe. They made us Chicanos. You remember that, Paul? They made us Tex-Mex. The other day, I was filling out an application for my dental. And I said, why are you asking me this? It said white, Latin surname, Hispanic surname, or Spanish, or Mexico. And I said, or refused to answer. I refused to answer. Because there were only 3 when I went to college. Negro, white, and others. We were others. So Henry Carrera and everybody bunch up. Every 2 years they change our names. I don't know what we are now. I'm sorry, Paul. It's the truth. So oil and gas, ranching. I have ranch. I have started with 1.5 acres in honor of my dad. That's all he had. And I got it up to 3,000 acres, 120 cows. My law enforcement loves to take down fences. I'm not talking about him personally, chasing illegal aliens, knocking down fences that I put up. Luckily, nobody's been killed by one of my cows. Farming, I'm in the hay business. I have a partner by the name of Carlos Garcia. I told Carlos, you don't need a partner when it rains. When the Lord blesses you to rain, you don't need a partner. You can buy your own fertilizer, you go to the bank, you got grass, you cut, we do hay, custom hay building. Great business, if it rains. my own fuel money from Houston all the way to Chicago would pay for the fertilizer and the diesel and the labor and the tractors. He only had one. Now we got one for the baler, one for the cutter, 2 cutters, 4 cutters. Put 4 tractors, 4 cutters, cut a field in no time. 1 baler, it's all we need. You can cut with 4 cutters, bale it all in 1 day. But we gotta let it dry, and he operates it. He won't let me operate. And then where do we go to the 4th industry? More importantly, hunting. The King Ranch would be out of business today. If you go to the website, it says they make more money out of hunting. All these beautiful ranches around here would have all been cut up and made into what? Dude ranches. Because of hunting. My brothers, not because of deer, more ground deer, because of quail hunting. Quail hunting is a great, fantastic. You don't believe me? Go to Hermanville. There's a $500 million or $1 billion worth of Lear, citations, planes that land there every weekend during quail season. And the fancy rigs, you all see them. Paul and I were talking here when we met about Laredo. We were talking about the gateway of Laredo. Gateway to where? There is no gateway. It's been gone a long time. I was in Zapata last week and I said, please don't be offended. My Lord himself would not forgive me for comparing a human being to a goat. My dad, may rest in peace, died in 94, he was 92, would say, dinero en mano, chivo afuera. Guess what? There is no more gate. I go around talking about 2 words. I am. Just mean it's looking at me. Who is I am? I said, it's not immigrants and it's not immigration. There's another word, I am. It is an invasion of our way of life. More important, there's another I am. We've been invaded. It's too late. When I read in the paper today that there's enough immigrants or asylum seekers, as we call them, that compares to almost 26 to 36 states populations. You go to Wyoming, they don't have 10 million people. But we don't know if it's 10 million. It might be 14 million. So we talk about a border. Everywhere I go, and I have 3 competitors against me. A gentleman by the name of Leon, he's Jimmy Leon, elderly gentleman. He's filed 2 or 3 times. I don't know for a fact, but I know he's filed twice in different districts to run, to get into somebody's shirt tail. When they palanca Democrat or Republican, he's gonna get elected. Jay Furman, great gentleman, call him a gentleman. I call him required gentleman. People would ask me why. I said, because he's a United States sitting congressman. My parents, my dad, my brother brought me up right, respect. He is a congressman. I'm going around this great 9 counties of this district and asking people to vote for me. He is a sitting U.S. congressman. I am not. I'm going after those same constituents that are need to vote for me. They might have voted for him, Paul. I don't know. I'm talking in front of crossovers and I'm talking in front of Republicans. But please help me understand. Respect, values, integrity. Work hard. Oil. Worked up until 21. Thought I'd come to South Texas and enjoy my life. And my small ranch, cattle, farming. I cannot. I have more people coming through it that got away. Those are the ones that got away. Not the 20 buses that just 2 weeks ago left. Heaven will. The next week, 17. Jasmina just came from California and she says, what are those buses? I said, those are the Hope and they're going all Chicago. But I don't know what's in the bus. But I did land in San Antonio here recently. I was going to Atascosa County to do a ballot pick. I might have told Rose this. In front of me were 200 aliens. I don't know if they came from Mars. You know why? Because there were 10 different interpreters. They had a basket that they would pick from, 3 baskets, but they were all mixed up. Debit cards, $300,000, $500,000 debit cards. And everybody was getting an iPhone. I left mine over there. And a charger. Apple, orange, banana. Piece of bread. I told Rose here, I said, no bologna, because we don't know what they eat. But a piece of bread, fruit, debit cards, our money. Our money. Our hard-earned money. Talk about Laredo. We had a beautiful mall. A lot of people have gone to Houston, go to the Galleria, Neiman Marcus, Saks. Laredo's one of the best. People will come from San Antonio to come to this mall. What is it today? 75% empty? Empty. You go down the street, you would find pottery. Remember all the pottery? A man just going across and bring his car and he'd go like this, covered with pottery, sending it. Chimeneas, remember the chimeneas? I don't know, I haven't seen a chimenea anymore. Furniture, beautiful furniture, made here. It's gone. Henry Query, just 2 weeks ago, a month ago, came with Ted Cruz. They opened up the bridges, the way they could bring the products across again to help Laredo. Gateway to where? It's just that way they don't carry the drugs or the illegal traffic where they're making all this money now. They're making more money off of humans than they are off the drug business. Talk about the drug business. Let's talk about if I open up a Dairy Queen, Paul, and I invent an ice cream that kills my customer, fentanyl. I have an ice cream that I sell to Rose's 3 children, and I kill them. That's not very good thinking. That's how they're thinking. They're like cattle. I was in Zapata, and Jasmina was shocked that I brought it up, and I said, I actually said it here at the Republican meeting 2 weeks ago. 85,000 children that all the liberals were screaming about, that Trump was separating a woman and his dad, family, and children. 85,000 documented ones. So they let them loose. Where'd they go? No one knows. Some sick person got them out there somewhere. If I could do anything about stopping the border, I'd go look for those 85,000 people. Not for her to these children, but my 9 sisters and 3 brothers. That's business, infrastructure. They gave money to this great municipality, the Gateway. It was used for what? We don't know. Not for infrastructure, not for, look at your traffic. Your businesses, no. You ask for small business administration loan, we don't have any. In December, the big freeze coming, I went and bought 200 blankets that I went and bought in Atascosa County, Turton, in the Walmart here, and I went to give them away, not to people on the street. I went to the little old houses. They asked me how come I didn't buy heaters. I said, electricity is gonna go out. It's not like in the old days when I was being brought up, my dad would stay up all night, bring in brasas to bring inside to keep his children awake or alive because of the heat. We could see the stars through the roof. I don't know how I never leaked, Paul, because with shingles would have swelled. But he brought brasas, coals, to heat the house. So I gave him blankets to put people in homes, not in the streets, because we don't know who those people are. You see them every day. But when you count more people going through your property with guns bigger than the one I carry, I don't have one today. They got them in the back. They're dressed in black. They're doing cadence, all in one line. Dressed in black. There's only one way. Y'all know that. Honey, it's gone. Yes, ma'am.
And what are your plans on how to protect the border?
Talk the border. He started by building a wall. It was not the Berlin Wall. Remember those people, they were trying to keep them in, not out. They wanted to get out. Here, these people are coming in because they just stopped enforcing it. There are laws in place. And all he's got to say, okay, that's enough. Close the spigot. It's like a water spigot. Just turn it off. No more flooding. He can do it any day. He doesn't need the Republicans. He doesn't need the Democrats. He, President of the United States, can stop this today, this second. From hearing from me, say, look, Henry Quer can go over and say, hey, the other day he jumped up, he said, I'm going to talk to the president about this invasion. Well, what happened in the last 4 years, 5 years? He should have been screaming. He was screaming about 2 people that drowned up here. They drowned on the Mexican side. He was screaming more about them. Yes, it's tragedy that a woman and 2 children died. But yes, the so-called wire, Paul, in Vietnam, my brother went to Vietnam, they would dig foxholes on a creek or a river, and they were this far apart from each other. He's trying to do it now with DPS troopers, but he ain't got enough. He's trying to bring the National Guard. Now they're saying that he's overstepping, that it's supposed to be the United States government to stop it. He can stop it. He can bring, they have infrastructure. They found There's drug dealers in Chaco, in big one. They found them with drones. Nobody can come across that border without the United States government knowing where they come from and when they cross that river. They can catch every single soul, not the ones that I'm seeing in my cameras. Yes, you stop it by the President of the United States. Donald Trump tried to do that, and he done good with 42. Keep them over there. He made a deal where they paid. Mexican government will pay. But when they're paying 50,000, I've heard those numbers, for a Chinese to come across, or a Pakistani, or Iraqi. Who are these people? Why are they coming here? Have you noticed that now all these buses, there's no children, no women? They're only men of, I'm 71. There ain't no 71-year-old men. They're all as young as him. He's 21. They're all 21, under 30.
That was an excellent question.
Yes.
Anybody else has another question?
Thank you, Rose.
You
I hope
know-
I answered you.
You know, pertaining to
Yes.
how they call us white,
Oh.
colored, Afro-American, you know, Latin, Latino, or other, you know. The Vice President, Kamala Harris, she was very outraged because she's multiracial, you know. The mother's from India, the father's colored, but he's part white. And the family, supposedly they owned slaves generations before, you know.
Right.
So she's actually multiracial, and she was labeled as black. And I think, and that upset her so much that she has this resentment that she's black, you know, like she's black, not multiracial, you know. And she has that inside of her. That,
Well, you know, I call her, I hate to be disrespectful to a
well,
lady
multiracial.
anyway, but she's multiple race.
Yeah.
I call her the laughing hyena, because that woman cannot stop from laughing. They've made her the border czar. Have you seen her in Laredo?
No, never.
Never. That's a gateway to human smuggling, and she hasn't been here once. Went to El Paso, I think.
That's great. Anybody else has another question?
Jasmina.
Why you are the best option for District 28?
What is
Well-
the best option for District 28?
Me being the option? Or
Yeah, why you
Why
are
are
the
you-
best option?
Why am
Why
I
are
the best
you the
option?
best
Oh, against my three competitors?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Leon, probably my age or older, that's not a problem. He's run several times. He lives in Houston, Texas. Jay Furman lives in Washington, D.C. He denies it. His son and his family live in Washington, D.C. He's a vet. Even Science lives in Friendswood, born and raised in, went to school in Friendswood, lives in Houston. I don't, I live in this district. I have bled oil and gas, farming, ranching. I understand the Second Amendment because I'm a hunter and I understand this ranchers that I am a rancher, I am a farmer. I understand fencing. I understand the district. I was born and raised here in 1953. I'm 71 years old. I'm fit. The Lord Himself blessed me to be alive. I had a neck injury or a bulldozer accident that's been my pain here the last few years. I lost a lot of weight. People thought I had cancer. I do not have cancer. I saw my doctor. You knew that I went to my doctor. My heart. Rose even asked me how did it go. My heart's ticking good. I would not take this venture. It was my brother who told me, Paul, si vas a elegir algo, haz algo. But I'm not doing it to remember him. I'm doing it for all of us. It's not about me personally. Not that I'm going to get a little cap, say I'm the U.S. Congressman with a little pin that they carry. It's about this beautiful South Texas that I was born and raised. I used to love to come to Laredo, go to Lafitte, have seafood, go to Cadillac Bar, have the little breads, have a margarita. I don't drink now, that did heavy. Can't do that. Can't go across and go to the Mercado and try to, I'll take that for $5. No, porque estamos vendiendo por 20, por de hoy, 15. You can't do that. We were talking earlier, this gentleman and I were, they have a zoo over there. There isn't a zoo here.
No, there's nothing that's.
Now, recently I heard about a park that they wanted to pass. $1 billion. A park for bicycle riding to the river and back. And then you could go over there and back and forth. $1 billion. Can you imagine $1 billion in this community? What you could do with it? Give it to small businesses like Paul, or you gentlemen that are in business. SBA loans, infrastructure, fix the traffic, road signs, They're not a burden. People are just sit there looking at their sign. That's great, Rose, but come on. Traffic needs to move. See 20 signs instead of just one for 2 hours.
Traffic is your audience, it's not traffic.
It's my audience, and I like it. I like it. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Pertaining to, well, yeah, we have 4 candidates, so I'm glad that we have 4 candidates, yourself and 3 others, which is better. You know, we have 4 choices, better than just 1 choice. But you're saying that these people, they're out of district. They're out of district.
They've never lived there. Or the signs did because he worked for Henry Cuervo
Yes.
for all these years. He goes to all these meetings, GOP, and he stands there and he says, I know how to bring money. Yes, because Henry Cuervo showed him how to bring money. That was his job. He was a Democrat. Now he wants to be a Republican and run against me. Jay Furman, I hate to use race. He's white and he's a vet. And I told him why I wasn't a vet. I said, your dad was in Vietnam as a chocolate pilot. I would have met your dad in '71. He lives in Washington, D.C. I asked him, I said, Jay, please, do you know what pila blanca is? Cola blanca, carta blanca? I might be talking about a deer, might be talking about a beer, or pila blanca, or am I talking about the beer joint that Domingo Peña used to have dance there here at the dance hall? Rubén Naranjo used to play there. You don't understand. I said, the other day you were late to Zapata, Texas, because you forgot how far it is from San Antonio to Zapata, because he doesn't know South Texas. How can he represent you all, or even me, as a Republican living down here as a farmer, rancher? Can I?
Any other questions?
Yes,
I have a question. You talked about our mall, the mall that we multi.
yes.
75% empty. What do you plan to do to help businesses return, especially small businesses, and help them prosper here in Laredo once again? Downtown used to have a lot of shops that, I mean, pretty much anything you needed, you go downtown and get, and now you can't.
You went main drive to the old, only one bridge. They got 5 now, right? 5?
No,
Looking
four.
4. They're trying to build another one.
Yes.
And you used to go Casa Raúl, Casa Jose. Remember the casa? They were all owned by the same family. There was the same family owned them all. They sold sunglasses, sold guns, sold ammo, sold sporting goods, nice polos, nice clothes, arrow shirts. I used to love arrow shirts.
I used to
They're
shop
gone.
at-
They're all gone. La Posada, you could love to go in there and eat postre, moñelos. You think you want to go sit in there now? It's dead. It's a ghost town. So you bring the money, instead of building this park, and you give it to small businesses, SBA loans. You set up banks that love to do SBA loans because they were guaranteed to get their money. That went away. Now they want to ask you who your grandmother was and how you voted for an application. Who politician can back you? No, it's what you can do for this community and your family to better this community. Infrastructure, yes, give the money to where it's intended to be used, not for it to disappear. There has been a lot of money brought here by the federal government and by Henry Cuervo. Where do you go? They didn't build the parks, they didn't build the community centers, they didn't build anything. That just disappeared. I don't know what it was used for.
That was a good question. Any other questions?
What about for veterans? I mean, you see a lot of money being spent on all these
Illegals?
illegals that are coming in. We don't even know who they are. We don't even know if they love our country. For all we know, they could be coming to do us harm. And they're giving them money and cell phones, and we have veterans here that are homeless, that are without jobs.
Let's
You know,
talk.
they say that veterans are the best people to hire because they're there on time and they know teamwork.
Yes, regimental, time. What was that? Yes sir, no sir. The way we were brought up.
Yeah.
Yes, veterans. Let's talk about the suicide rate. Suicide rate. My brother came from Vietnam. They spit at him when he landed in LA. They spit at him in Corpus. His own people that he went to school with from Carroll High School, Moody High School in '68. They spit at him. Spit at him. Think about it. Veterans. Vietnam, let's forget that war. Let's get it. How about Afghanistan, Iraq? You know how many, we have helped those countries. We're helping Ukraine, billions and billions of dollars. Iraq, look at us, a fiasco. Bush took us there, Republican. Look at Afghanistan. He just gave it away. He left all the equipment there. Luckily, they don't have the infrastructure to put them back together. If it breaks, they don't have the little buttons. Yes, veterans. Yes, it's a workforce. Roosevelt, when they built Hoover Dam, who did he hire? Veterans. People went and built Hoover Dam. They went and they built dams, they built roads. I was telling Jasmina recently, I said, do you know why the roads were built east to west? It was Eisenhower. He used them interstates because they took out the SAC base that was here in Laredo, that's gone. The one in the Rio is gone. Those planes came back, the bases were gonna be gone, Paul. If you'll go on any interstate, 10, 20, 30, all the way up, all the way to Canada, all of a sudden you'll see that they took the mountains off. That's where those planes could land. That was used by federal government with Eisenhower's planning. Veterans again could go and work for those jobs.
That's absolutely.
Thank you so much for your question, sir.
Great question. Any other question?
Acerca de small business, hay muchos negocios que cerraron durante la pandemia y algunos negocios como el mío está demandado por no pagar ciertos meses de renta.
¿Sí?
¿Hay alguna ayuda o algo, un apoyo o cuál es el plan en la...
Again, that is for your local politicians to come to U.S. congressmen. Like the other day when they asked him to help the poor people because the cold weather was coming. And I get a call from an activist here. And I gave up because they went to Henry Queer and he said, go to the welfare office, go to the library, they're gonna have them open. Heat in there. I bought blankets. I didn't buy electric heaters because they weren't gonna have electricity. Or they probably would burn the house with electric heaters. We know how many homes built burn every year with electric heaters. Yes, they should be, but local infrastructure, there are people that write bonds where they get paid for funds and grants. Like when you build a civic center, they make a percentage of the money that's brought. My good friend Jose Sainz, he's good at that. You know, remember, I'm not a politician. They love going around saying, I'm not a politician, I'm a businessman. I am a businessman. I know what it takes to make it work. I created jobs, 70 of my employees. 8 companies I incorporated all here in South Texas. In the oil industry. Real estate, same thing. Look at infrastructure, look at the real estate. This was the fastest growing city next to Las Vegas. Where'd it go? Gone. Nobody wants to come here. Nobody wants to buy a home. Remember, the Martins and all the rich people wouldn't let you build north, they went south. So what's south? RV parks or mobile homes.
Absolutely. That's a good question. Any other question?
Mr. Russell, what your stance on education, the education system that we have right now? I mean, you got people that can't even tell whether they're a woman or a man, or, I mean, what's your stance on that?
Well, first of all, I'm being number 10 of 13 children, you can just imagine. You know, in Illinois, since they implemented abortion, 20 billion black children were destroyed in the womb. When the children are born, they get 5,000, 10,000. I'm not talking about blacks, I'm talking about Hispanics too. There's no father figure to help these children. Remember when we were going to school, all of you all here in front of me, and your parents found out that you got spanked at school, you got a worse beat at home. Because your dad would tell you, what? I worked my, you know what, in the oil field or in the farm to send you to school, and you think that teacher is smarter than you, and then you got another whipping. Parents got lost. The PTAs, when was the last time you ever went to a PTA meeting? They don't have them anymore. Involvement, parents, teachers, associations. Education, I already told you about earlier when I was not in front of you all. I created a scholarship fund in Freer, Texas, $262,500 to send young ladies. I told Rose and Jasmina, because when the next door neighbor runs off with your husband at 35 or 40, you got 3-4 kids, you go home and you have your pom-poms and your old home and your kids sleeping on the floor. You lose your house, you lose your kids, you lose your car. You gotta go back to mom. If you have education, they can't take your education. That's the reason I send young ladies. Jasmina's corrected me recently because I used the word, and even Rose, I use the word discriminate. I give scholarship to young ladies. Somebody asked me who Isabella Lane was. I call her my little ugly duckling. She is the most beautiful young lady. She should be a model, or she should be an actress in Hollywood. That's how beautiful that young girl is. But I knew her when she was about 3 years old. Little buck teeth like this. I need to show you a picture. Her mother just dies laughing. And her mother sends me texts and says, education, education, education. You beat it into my daughters. She's got 5 of them. They're going to school. Education, yes. And then you should control what your child is going to be, a boy or a girl.
Absolutely.
Not them. Not the school. You should say, there was recent in the paper about this. They lost the child because he wanted to identify as a girl. And they took him away from him. He had a bipolar, he had a mental problem. This child is out there somewhere. We don't know what becomes of these people.
Absolutely. Any other question?
Well, pertaining to that, like parents and teachers losing authority over the children in the classrooms, in the schools, in your home, that, you know, teachers have been losing authority over the children. They've taken authority away from the teachers, you know. Why is that?
The teachers, you know, you get a counselor that's whatever, cross-gender or whatever, and she wants to push that into children. Let's imagine that I was brought up with 9 sisters and they had nothing but Barbie dolls. Why would I have played with Barbie dolls? So I'm a girl? That's what happens in schools. So now they want to make the little boy go into the girls' bathrooms. He don't want to go in there. Pronouns? I don't understand his words.
Yeah.
You know what happened to Budweiser?
Yeah.
You know what happened to Target? I could understand Target. I just couldn't understand why Target got hurt. It's because there was a black mannequin of a young boy, and he was a little fancy, Tom-looking thing, and they showed this young boy where you could wrap his thing and pull it under, where he wouldn't show a bulge, make him into a little girl. And that's for the reason the whole black stopped.
Any other question?
Yes, sir.
Sir, question. We see every day on television this function that's taking place in Congress, the very place you want to go and serve. Now, we understand as American citizens in our democracy that there's going to be differences in opinion between Republicans and Democrats. That's always existed. But we're seeing a uprising within the Republican Party itself at Congress that is proving to be completely unsustainable and dysfunctional within their own party. My question to you, sir, is this. What efforts can you suggest or would like to see implemented to where your party, if elected to Congress, could come together and coalesce to establish and make government functional again?
Well, being in the oil field, talking about commingling, that's what it's called. You gotta take that hand and extend it. Those Democrats, Vicente Gonzalez, the congressman in the United States, 34, came to me, to my ranch, and he said, I know you're a Republican, but on January 1st, Mr. Garza, I'm going to be an American. He forgot those words. Because if you are an American, no different than this man that's sitting there now, pretending to be the President of the United States, said, we will be open doors, we'll talk about it, we will commingle, we will take the Republicans and we'll go across the aisle. Where is that? They blame everything on one guy. Everything is Trump, Trump, Trump. It was like COVID. You know the reason we're short, we're not 6-footers playing basketball? Because of COVID. It's the same thing. Anything happens in this country, Trump. Somebody asked about these people that came in. They're gonna blame it on Trump when they start rioting, like what happened the other day, there's people shot at that Super Bowl parade. When they start going through some BLM, that Black Lives Matter period of time, 12% of the United States are black, and yet they shut this country down. What do you think is going to happen with 10 or 12, 14 million people that got in here? They're all of age in the military. When they start rioting, they're going to throw Trump to hell and island like they did Napoleon, blame it on him. So they're going to exile him because he's going to become a Republican candidate. We don't know what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't come to that. Jay Furman, the veteran, wants to talk about working in the military and all that. I said, no, sir. To answer your question, I would cross the aisle. I know Vicente. I know Castro. I don't know him personally like me and Paul know each other, but I would walk across the street and say, hey, you're right up the road. What are you thinking? Del Rio is being destroyed. McAllen is getting hurt just as bad as Laredo. But Laredo's really taking it. And yet the infrastructure is not here to even stop it. The President of the United States could stop it tomorrow morning. Just by one stroke of a pen. Send troops in. Not National Guard that the governor's bringing. Yes, to answer your question, I would walk across the aisle and say, sir, my name is Lázaro Garza, I come from South Texas, and I'm getting killed down here. I need help to pass my bill to help small businesses that lost it during COVID, that can't pay rent. There was rent forgiveness in Chicago, Los Angeles, malls didn't collect the money. They were forgiven to put them back in business. Why not South Texas?
Absolutely.
And tax abatement. You're not making any money, how can they keep on taxing you for something you don't have? You have no merchandise. You can't have nothing to sell because you have no customers.
That was a great question.
Yes.
That was an excellent question of what it is. And, to talk a little bit about, I'm going to interject just a little bit here, to talk about what's going on with the migration, invasion, or what have you, all throughout humanity, civilization. It was an invasion that started a new civilization. We are now in a blinded state of mind that an invasion is not coming in. We have migration happens as well naturally. It always happens naturally. Why are we here? We migrated out of Europe, and we came here and we conquered the Americas. And we conquered the remainder of the world. And we melted in a beautiful country that's known as the United States of America. So if you want to stop with racism in between, prejudice and racism are totally two different things. But we ourselves have to eliminate the hyphen. We have to stop putting Irish hyphen American, Mexican hyphen American, Afro hyphen American. Take that off. We're either all Americans or not. And that's number one, that's what we should be teaching the world. Now, about the migration, everything that's coming in, it's twofold. You have migration of people coming out to make a better living. They're working. There's a lot of business that's natural. That's happening now. But at the same time, you have a lot of Chinese that are coming in that speak English.
To do what? And
they act like if they don't. They're not. They don't know, and they're not assimilated. There's already videos of them training for what? Okay, that to me, I think there's twofold. There is a migration, and there's a cloaked invasion.
Hidden.
And it will come up. We will face that. Now, there's a lot of worries about what are we going to do. Laredo, we don't see that much of the building of illegals coming across the border, because here's a special note. You have a highway. That highway carries a lot of commodities, both legal and illegal. They're not gonna hurt it. They're not gonna hurt it today. They're not gonna hurt it tomorrow. They're just gonna continue there. But everywhere on the outside, if you see south and to the north, that's where everything's happening. But we as a community, we have to study what's going on, understand what's going on. And you see this with people that have gone abroad outside of Laredo and come back years later. They can see a difference in what's happening. But those that stay here and only live here, they live in a bubble, in a secluded bubble that nothing's happening. Everything's kosher. It's not kosher.
Well, excuse me, you see, when the United Nations gets involved and starts giving maps to these people, these people that are getting caught are having money. Where are they getting this $50,000 and $25,000 to just come across the river to pay the cartels? The cartel's making billions of dollars. The Mexican government keeps on claiming they're not making no money. So where's the money going? Where's it coming in the first place to pay for these people to cross? Where's it coming from? China, Iraq, Iran. billions of dollars being spent on the other side. Instead, we went to Iraq, look what the fiasco happened there. Look at Afghanistan, we spending billions of dollars. These people are coming here for what? To destroy us, our way of living. The invasion that I mentioned earlier. It is not immigrants. It isn't more than an invasion.
Yep.
It's a total destruction of our way of living.
And now, on another note, we would continue here because with all the great questions, every single one of you asked a great question and it was answered. Great. When you see people stand up and ask questions, people that are running for office, whether you're an incumbent or not an incumbent, pay attention. It's like what I tell people. You say somebody puts a negative comment on your business. Pay attention to it. Why? Because that negative comment
spreads.
It's not only that it spread, it's also telling you that maybe there's something wrong that you did. Maybe the waiter did something wrong, maybe this didn't, maybe you were late with this, maybe something happened. Try to fix it. Because that's the only way you're going to fix to go better. Don't say, oh, I'm doing everything right, although they're just haters. No. Remember, haters are your favorite fans.
That's how we learn.
Yeah, that's how we learn. We have to look at the bad and refix the bad to go forward in the good. If you don't do that, then we're stuck in the trend.
We have one young man, 21.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You, the crossover, is going to win this election. For me and this country. You got to come to bat. Education, but you got to come to bat. You got to get them riled up. 18, 19, 21, 22-year-olds, they want to stay and wait. What are they going to wait for? There's nothing to wait for. It might not be there tomorrow. If we don't get them out to vote now, I want to be there March 5th. I don't want to go through a runoff. It's going to be a waste of my time, not the money. It's not about money. It's about time. Because I need to worry about concentrating on Henry Quer. And I've done a very great job of beating him to the punch with the Lamar signs and meet people like you all. The crossovers. You all are Republicans, you Democrats. All of South Texas was 100% Democrat at one time. Look at Zapata the last time around. 100% red. I mean, 99 something percent. They're still looking for that 1 or 2% that voted for Biden.
Once more, I want to thank you guys for coming here.
Yeah, thank every one of y'all for taking your time.
And thank you for standing up and being a candidate and trying to fix this election that's coming.
Thank you.
And every single one of you all, thank you once more.
Yes.
The incident with the Rosenbergs, remember the Rosenbergs that came into Nation 8? The Rosenbergs, the family, they were spies. They infiltrated, that's another incident. Maybe people forgot about it.
They forgot about it. It was communists.
Yeah.
They were communists.
They were hungry.
But what about now?
That's the last.
Nothing being done.
Yeah, that was one of the last public executions for women. But anyway, we'll leave you with this. You all stay safe, be safe, and every single one of you.
And God bless the United States.